everyone. Are you ready to do your speak out exercises? Did you know that 90% of people with Parkinson's are likely to experience speech difficulty? And that aspiration pneumonia, I hate to share this statistic, but aspiration pneumonia caused by swallowing difficulty accounts for 70% of the mortality rate in the Parkinson's population. However, and a big however, as you improve your speech and your communication, it is very common that the swallowing improves at all. That's why we're working as hard as we can at Parkinson Voice Project to reach as many people as we can. We don't want anyone with Parkinson's to have difficulty with their speech or their swallowing, and we've been doing this long enough that we know the treatment works. So please, do the exercises with me today. Make sure you're working with a speak out provider in your area, and please help us to get the word out. We're going to go through the 6 speak out exercises. Let's take a sip of water and then we'll get started. Sorry about that. Let's get some water. I know those statistics are scary, but I want you to have a proactive attitude with Parkinson's. Let's be on the offensive, not be on the defensive, okay? All right, we can do this. All right, first exercise, the warm-up. I want you to lift your voice and project it forward. In order to activate the swallowing muscles, you have to use enough intent. You have to put forth a lot of effort. So here we go. May, me, my, mo, moo. Again. May, me, my, mo, moo. Are you using enough intent? Think about it this way. If we were to go, may, me, my, we're not having to take a deep enough breath. We're not having to move our mouth enough. We're not having to use the vocal folds as much. We're trying to activate the speech and swallowing muscles. So speak out. Ready? Here we go. May, me, my, mo, moo. One more time. May, me, my, mo, moo. Okay, let's take a sip of water. I've always been the type of person that if there's a problem, we're going to recognize what it is and then figure out what to do with it, okay? And I want you to be that way with Parkinson's too. There's lots that you can control with Parkinson's. We can't control the dopamine cells becoming impaired, but there's a lot of other things we can. So try to have that kind of attitude as you move forward. Next exercise, I want you to say, ah. Deliberately open the mouth wide. Project the sound forward. Here we go. Ah. Don't let it trail off. Do it again. We're improving the breath support for speech. We're activating both the speech and the swallowing muscles. Let's do it again with more intent. Here we go. Again. worry if you can't hold the ah as long as I do. You want to make sure the sound is consistent, and it should be a nice strong sound, not loud or yelling, but projected forward. Let's do a 5-second ah. Here we go. Ah. One more. Ah. All right, let's get some water. Last week we had mentioned about some ways to increase your water intake. Have you been drinking more water? If you're only drinking 3 or 4 glasses a day, you probably need to drink more unless you're on a restriction for some other medical reason. But water will thin out the secretions, that mucus or phlegm. It'll make it better. There's also, lots of other benefits to drinking water, but we talked about juice, Sprite, decaffeinated sodas, maybe even putting a little juice with your water, so you could do it that way, or use a little Crystal Light if you don't like water that much. Try to increase it. It's good for you. All right, next exercise, the glide. Project the ah forward and then go up. Don't start gliding up right away. So I don't want you to do ah. No, I want you to be more intentional. I want you to project the ah forward and then go up. Here we go. Ah. Stop. Ah. How'd you do? Let's do it again. Stop. This exercise, if I had to pick one that affects the swallowing the most, I would say it's this one, because the vocal folds sit on top of your airway. So if anything tries to go down wrong, your vocal folds, what do you start doing? You start coughing. Did you say that with intent? You start coughing, the vocal folds go, get out of there. So your vocal folds are the last protection of your airway. So as we're strengthening them, as we go up in pitch, they stretch one way. As we go down in pitch, they stretch a different way. This is very important. Let's do another glide. Stop. Good. Let's do it again. Stop all the way. Don't hold your breath. Good. Now this is tricky because you're projecting the voice forward, but you're going up and down. So think about that. Project out even though you're going up and down. Let's do one more. Stop. Good. We're done with the glides. We need some water. Take a sip of water with intent. That's something else you can do to improve your swallowing. When you're eating, think about what you're doing. Activate the intentional motor system that is not as dependent on dopamine. Swallow with intent. Okay, think about it. It works. Next, counting. We call these numerical sequences. This exercise re-coordinates the breathing pattern. Say every number and project it forward with lots of intent. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For this exercise, I don't want you to have your eyes closed. I want you to relax, okay? Relax. I want you to be projecting your voice forward without moving like this. I'm not talking about dyskinesia, but I don't want you using other muscles because you're working so hard. I want you to relax and be able to project your voice out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Move the mouth. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go backwards now. 12, 11, 10. Nice and even. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're struggling with keeping it nice and even and your voice, your speech wants to rush, it's very common with Parkinson's, but you have to use more intent. The way you do that, you can stretch out the vowels a little bit. Let's start with 7, 8, 9, and we're going to stretch it out a little bit more. Ready? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How'd you do? It should help. Whenever you start to have that stuttering, or we call it disfluency, stretch out the vowels. Oh my goodness, I need water. Everybody, swallow with intent. You know, sometimes I hesitate bringing up the swallowing issues, but it's a very serious and real challenge for people with Parkinson's, but there's something you can do about it. If there wasn't, I probably wouldn't mention it. But we know how to minimize the swallowing issues. So find a speak out provider. Look at the website on the bottom of the screen. Go to ParkinsonVoiceProject.org. Find a speech pathologist that we've trained. And then practice with me once a day, and you'll be in good shape. I want to give y'all an update on our fundraising before we move on to the reading. So we are raising money for Parkinson Voice Project's endowment for the month of June. Our big goal is to raise $15 million. When we raise $15 million, we're going to establish a therapy and research center, one in every state, that is not going to charge for their services, and they're going to provide both in-person and online treatment. Once we establish these centers, one in every state, every person in the United States will have access to treatment. At the same time, these centers will be doing research, and we'll be expanding our reach abroad. So that'll be next, to establish centers in other universities around the world. Well, this month so far, thank you everybody, we have raised $185,619. So $185,000. I think we can get up to 250. So if you haven't made a donation yet, I'm going to ask Katie to post our donate page. On that page, there's information about donating stocks, donating through an IRA charitable rollover. There's information about estate planning. We don't want to see that money anytime soon, but think about it. And then as a thank you, we're going to be sending you a copy of our new tongue twister booklet. And there's over 100 tongue twisters that were written by y'all. And if you have a tongue twister in here, we will definitely send you a copy. But we hope that y'all all make a donation this month. Next, now we're going to move on to the reading. So we've got some homographs that were submitted to us by Winfield. So thank you for this. For the reading, you've got to put forth enough effort that you're going to activate the speech and swallowing muscles. So this should not be like regular talking. You are projecting forward over a crowd. So let's read this together. Rita was too close to the door to close it. Say close it and speak out. Ready? Close it. Do it again. Close it. Stretch out the vowels. Say it again. Close it. Let's say the whole thing. Rita was too close to the door to close it. Is every word flying over the crowd in front of you? Do it again. Rita was too close to the door to close it. We are working hard. These are serious issues, so we're going to do our very best. Next one. I did not object to the object in question. Are you speaking out? Do it again. I did not object to the object in question. I want you to say the object in question over the crowd. Say it. The object in question. Again. The object in question. Throw it forward one more time. The object in question. Now say the whole thing. I did not object to the object in question. For the reading, our goal is to read for 3 to 5 minutes at a high intensity level. If you can do this, you can carry on a conversation with family and friends. Next one, speak out. There is no time like the present to present a friend with a present. Are you speaking out? Are you lifting your voice up and in front of you? Do it again. There is no time like the present to present a friend with a present. Don't let it trail off. Don't let it get raspy. Speak out. Lift your voice. Do it again. There is no time like the present to present a friend with a present. Again, every word with intent. There is no time like the present to present a friend with a present. Good. Let's take a sip of water before we do the next one. I'm going to work you hard because I care about you and I know that you can get better. All right, here we go. The vegetable farmer was asked to produce organic produce for the local community. I want you to say the word community and throw it forward. Ready? Community. Every syllable with intent. Say it again. Community. Again. Community. Say the whole thing with intent. The vegetable farmer was asked to produce organic produce for the local community. Let's do it slower. The vegetable farmer was asked to produce organic produce for the local community. As I'm talking, I'm continually lifting my voice and projecting it forward. Next one. Ready? She shed a tear upon seeing the tear in the painting. I want you to say, in the painting, and throw it in front of you. Ready? In the painting. Lift it again. In the painting. Again. In the painting. Again. In the painting. Now the whole thing. She shed a tear upon seeing the tear in the painting. Next one. Ready? The soldier had to desert his platoon in the desert. Again. The soldier had to desert his platoon in the desert. Now, if this is too easy for you, then we need to go backwards. Let's do it together. Desert, the in platoon, his desert. Wait, this one's harder. Wait, desert, dessert. Yeah, dessert. Desert, then dessert. Go backwards. Ready? Desert, the in platoon, his dessert. Oh, God. Two had soldier, though. Oh, it's too hard backwards with these. I can't do it this way. All right. Try this one. Let's read it together. I had to subject the subject to a series of tests. Again, I had to subject the subject to a series of tests. Okay, let's stop. See, I'm not perfect either. I didn't say you're not perfect. Maybe you are perfect, but I'm not. Okay, let's take some water. No one's perfect, right? We can all be better. All right, for the cognitive exercise, what we need to do is we need to practice speaking out while we're thinking about something. So when you have the reading in front of you, you have the words in front of you. But now I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to answer with intent. We're going to work on some antonyms like we were doing yesterday. So what's the opposite of dark? All right. What's the opposite of daughter? What's the opposite of day? What's the opposite of the word deep? Did you say shallow? Spell the word shallow with intent. Ready? S-H-A-L-L-O-W. Did you say every single letter with intent? Did you just answer with intent? For this part of the protocol, I want everything that comes out of your mouth is going to be with intent. The next one, what is the opposite of front? What is the opposite of generous? What is the opposite of genuine? Did you say fake? Spell the word fake with intent. F-A-K-E. K, E. If you tend to stutter, if your words go faster than you mean for them to, spelling words is a great way to gain back control. What is the opposite of find? Make up a sentence with the word find. Find. Did you say every word with intent? Did you just answer with intent? Every sound that comes out of your mouth has to be with intent. What's the opposite of win? W-I-N. What's the opposite of win? What's the opposite of intent? Or maybe I should say intentional. What's the opposite of intentional? I would say it's automatic. We're learning how to be intentional, learning how to activate a part of the brain with Parkinson's that is not as dependent on dopamine. I'm going to ask you a few more questions. Answer with intent. What is your full name? What is your address? Say every word with intent. What are you doing when you finish this practice session? Say it with intent. With Parkinson's, you have to practice talking in conversation with intent. Do it every day. All right, water, and then we'll end with Dr. Boone's nonsense words, which strengthen the back of the tongue. Very important for swallowing. So when you say the G sound, the K sound, and the NG, we want to hear them in a really strong way. That means the back of the tongue is hitting the roof of the mouth. Very important for swallowing. Okay, lots of intent. Ready? Gu, la, gun, ga, ga. Gu, la, gun, ga, ga. Now stretch it. Gu, la, gun, ga, ga. Next one. Ku, ka, man, gu, ka. Let me hear those sounds. Ku, ka, man, gu, ka. Now stretch. Ku, ka, man, gu, ka. Do you notice that it's challenging for you to say the G, the K, and the NG? We got to work on it with more intent. Ready? Gangla, gangla, gangla. And the next one. Kukla, kukla, kukla. So the lesson for today is to be proactive. To recognize that people with Parkinson's can struggle with speech and swallowing, but to know that there is something we can do about it. These exercises will not be enough to protect your speech and swallowing. Please work with a Speak Out provider, but I will say that since we started offering these online practice sessions, our patients at our clinic are not requiring as much therapy because they're getting the reinforcement with these online sessions. So that's good. Have a wonderful day. Speak out, speak with intent, and I will see you.